2025, the year everything changes. Hello, my name is Eliane-Nicole. I'm your astrologer and tarot reader, and in this video, I am going to talk about why 2025 is the year that everything changes, what I'm seeing in the astrology and many astrologers are seeing in the astrology that's making us say that this is the year everything changes. But before I get into the interpretation, I want to say if you're watching this on Instagram, I'm only going to post the first 3 minutes here. The entire video will be available on my YouTube channel, Eliane-Nicole. My YouTube channel is my name, Eliane-Nicole. Please find me there. I will put a link in the profile bio of my Instagram to get there. If you're watching this on YouTube, please make sure that you subscribe to my channel. Please hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. Please like, please comment, please share. It helps me in the algorithm and to grow my business and to grow my community and to grow my channel. And it puts me in a position to continue to give these free astrological offerings. If you are watching this on Instagram, please make sure that you are following astrology.tarot.Eliane-Nicole. Please like, please comment, please share. It's free for you and very helpful to me. And now without further ado, I'm going to talk about why the year of 2025 is the year where everything seems to change. And the astrology of 2025 is unique in that every single planet is shifting signs. And this, the faster moving planets shift signs every year. But what's unique about 2025 is that all of the outer, slower moving planets are shifting signs. That means Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto are all shifting signs. And if you follow my astrology, you know that these planets, the outer planets, move so slowly. Uranus takes 84 years to circle the sun. Neptune takes 165 years to circle the sun. Pluto takes 248 years to circle the sun. So all of these planets remain in the same sign for many, many years as they circle the sun. So the fact that they are all changing signs in 2025 is pretty unique. Uranus has been in Taurus since 2018. Neptune has been in Pisces since 2012. Pluto had been in Capricorn since 2008 and just moved into Aquarius November 19th, 2024 for a 20-year run where it'll be in Aquarius until 2044. I always say Pluto is the outermost, slowest moving planet, is, he holds the bottom. Pluto is the bass player. But these outer planets, Uranus, I always make jazz analogies because I'm music analogies. I'm a music connoisseur and I read for a lot of musicians and artists and have been around it all of my life. And so that's one of the metaphors I use. But there are lots of metaphors that work for it, painting as well. Anyway, you'll hear me go back and forth between them if you follow my astrology. But, basically what I'm saying is that it's like the landscape of our lives is completely changing in 2025 because Pluto and Neptune and Uranus, they're the landscape that the rest of the picture is filled into with the faster moving planets. And because they are all shifting, and not only are they all shifting, but they're moving from earth and water to air and fire. And, I meant to do this video before the new year began and I didn't get a chance. But already in Los Angeles, which is my hometown where I'm born and raised, this astrology ended up being very literal. And in some places, perhaps, and in some people's lives, it may be more figurative or metaphorical, but this is the energy that we're all dealing with in the whole world. different cities have their own astrology depending on the birth chart of the city. Different states, different countries all have their own astrology. And then we as individuals have our own astrology. And so there are these kind of overarching energies that we're all working with depending on where the planets are. And then there's the way that it affects our personal charts or our state or country or city charts too, which is all very interesting. In fact, I think I'm going to do a video on the astrology of Los Angeles, since it's my hometown and it's going through so many significant events right now. But I want to keep this video kind of more general and for everybody on what the mundane astrology is of 2025. And so you have Uranus shifting to Gemini in July of 2025, when it's been in Taurus since 2018, an earth sign. You know, it's been in Taurus, a fixed earth sign, since 2018. It's switching to Uranus, a mutable air sign. That's a huge change. And Uranus is that very unpredictable, shake up, rebel, plot twist energy anyway. And so going from that fixed earth to that mutable air, that transit alone in a year would be a very destabilizing kind of earth-shattering type of energy. And I think that when Uranus makes that shift, you know, I think that that 29th degree of Taurus is going to be a really, really interesting time. And that moment that it moves over from Taurus, 29 Taurus, to 0 degrees. Uranus is going to be, you know, a very destabilizing moment in the world. The exact date of that transit, I'm using my handy dandy ephemeris, every astrologer's best friend. That exact date, 29 Taurus to 0 degrees Gemini, is around July 7th, 8th. So that is definitely, looks like a date to watch for in terms of, you know, major destabilization, whether that be through geological forces, political forces, or otherwise. You know, Uranus is revolutionary energy. Uranus is breakthrough, break out, break down, break up, all of that kind of stuff. It's lightning striking and changing everything in a flash type of energy. And, you know, I will do a much more detailed video on Uranus and what that looks like as it gets closer. But I'm just doing a kind of broad strokes of the year ahead right now. You know, in our personal charts, that's going to vary from person to person where Uranus is shifting in your chart and what that would mean to your personal life. And obviously, like, for people who have planets in the late degrees of Taurus or the early degrees of Gemini, it's going to be the most personal. But again, I don't want to get too much into the details. I'm doing the broad strokes just to give people an idea of where these energies are shifting and what time of the year. And then you've got Neptune, who's been in Pisces since 2012. And Neptune is a very different energy than Uranus. Neptune has to do with the oneness that connects us all. Neptune has to do with, you know, things like spirituality and healing. And, you know, Neptune has to do with, you know, Neptune can be very creative energy on the one hand, very imaginative energy, and then on the other hand, it can be very deceptive energy, and it can dissolve things where it's moving through. And I've seen both expressions and how it affects people personally really depends on how Neptune is placed in their chart, what house it's in, what aspects it's making. But for the collective, you know, it has to do with our collective imagination, our collective, you know, ego, and the dissolution of that ego. Neptune is very, very tricky energy. You know, it's subtle and yet so profound. And again, as we get closer to the time that Neptune is making its shift, Neptune is dipping into Aries from, I believe, March 31st until October 23rd of this year. And it will move permanently into Aries for the next, like, I don't know, 14-year run or something like that, starting in February 26th. In fact, Neptune and Saturn will be stepping into Aries together, holding hands in 2026, but they almost conjoin at the end of Pisces, at the end of March 2025. And so in many ways, it's like, as a reader, 2025 and 2026 almost look like 1 year to me when I read them. But it's almost like, you know, 2025 is your introduction to your new life, and 2026 is full immersion in your new life. And so, you know, Neptune's moving from water to fire, Uranus is moving from earth to air, and then we've got, and then Pluto already made the move from earth to air. And so that's why I say we're entering an elementally different way of living in the world, moving from this earth, water era to this air, fire era. We're moving away from materialism into the area of concepts, ideas, frequency, vibration, creation, you know, it's not going to be about as much about stuff and things and the material realm that's weighing us down. We're going to be elevating to another vibration. It's not going to be easy for a lot of people. Some people it's going to be more natural for and more their vibe and their frequency, and others are going to struggle more with it. I think that the fixed signs are going to be dealing with a lot of challenges over these next years, more so. But again, you know, we all have different astrological coding, and it is not one size fits all, although it is a guarantee that the way that we live on the planet is changing for everyone. And I recommend watching my Pluto into Aquarius video that I posted in November of 2024. I recommend watching my Pluto conjunct the Sun video that I just posted January 23rd of this year. And, you know, those videos will give you a lot of context about what Pluto and Aquarius era is bringing. That's kind of the primer on the canvas of all of the changes. But, you know, I'll be coming forth with Neptune and Uranus videos as those, but it's like all the giants are shifting positions. And again, Uranus has been in the same sign since 2018. Neptune has been in the same sign since 2012. Pluto had been in the same sign since 2008. So all of these giants shifting into other signs and other elements is really just changing everything. And then not only are the giants changing, but Jupiter will be shifting to Cancer this year. Jupiter spends a year in every sign, so that's a more frequent change. But the fact that it's shifting signs in June, you know, just before Uranus shifts signs in July, and just after Neptune and Saturn have shifted signs, and you know, March and, you know, all of this. And then Mars, you know, Mars shifts signs every year. So it's not, but it's just like the fact that every single planet is changing signs. You know, we've had a big Mars retrograde story that's been going on that really started in August when Mars moved into Cancer, really activating a lot of family karma for people, and karma around mothers and families and home and safety and security. And then on the collective, you know, that Mars in Cancer has had so much to do about nationalism and tribalism and the homeland and homeland security. And so we've had this extended Mars story because Mars usually moves through a sign in 6 weeks. But because of the retrograde, there was this Mars in Cancer, and then it went into Mars in Leo, and then went reverse, and then that Mars in Leo in reverse. There was a lot of backfiring energy happening on people, a lot of fire energy happening in general, you know, back into Cancer, activating more family karma, and then it'll be, you know, back into Leo, I think February, you know, 23rd, or it goes direct again February 23rd, and then back into Leo by the beginning of May or April 18th, and then maybe out of shadow in May. I might be confusing the dates a little bit, but don't worry, because I will be coming back with more videos as it's happening to bring you up to date with what's going on with Mars, the god of war, you know. And it's so interesting too, because I know that the new administration in America has plans of, you know, colonizing Mars, which I think is just so interesting because as I make this video, it's January 24th. Mars is out of bounds, been out of bounds since the beginning. Been out of bounds since the beginning of 2025. And, you know, Mars is the god of war. Mars is you know, that is not one of the gods to F with, if you know what I mean. So it's interesting that the plutocrats, the billionaires, the powers that be are going to try their hand at messing with Mars. We'll see how that goes. But I'm going to continue to track it. And, you know, I have to read a little bit more into it before I'm going to make any definite, you know, statements about how I think that's all going to unfold. But I just know that Mars can be ornery as, and, you know, good luck with that, guys. But, yeah, so basically 2025 is like the introduction to your new life. 2026 is full immersion in your new life. And I mean that for us as a collective, and I mean it for us as individuals. You know, game-changing year. Everything is changing year. Nothing will stay the same. You know, if you watched my videos around Christmas time, the mutable T-square of Christmas 2024, I talked about that Christmas, like, look around you, look at what you're doing and who's around and what's going on. Everything is changing. And boy, 2025 did not waste any time. You know, we could see that 2025 was going to start with a bang because the year began with the Mars-Pluto opposition, the second of 3. The first one was November 3rd, 2 days before the election. The second one was January 2nd. And we have a third one coming in April, which, again, I will be back with a video where I'll you know, zoom in on that a little bit more. I don't want my videos to be too long. I have to take this stuff apart and break it down into sections to make it palatable and digestible for people, because there's so much wisdom and so much information being transmitted by the planets and the stars right now. It is my joy to study it and to share it with you. I love reading the planets. It's something I've been doing for most of my life. And yeah, I just wanted to stop in and do a little video because I meant to do this before the year ended and I never got around to it. And I'm like, hey, it's still January, might as well stop in and talk about this a little bit. By the way, I'm really looking forward to Jupiter moving into Cancer. That will be Jupiter coming out of its detriment in Gemini, the planet of grace and good fortune, moving into Cancer where it's exalted. So I think that that is going to be a beautiful solve on the year. You know, we've got Venus here in Pisces, and Venus will be shifting signs too. She is in Pisces now. She will be going retrograde into Aries and then back into Pisces. Venus is exalted in Pisces, and it's so interesting because, you know, Venus is wanting to enjoy her exaltation and enjoy this beautiful position, the goddess of love and beauty, but there's all this other messiness going on in the world where, you know, it's kind of like, but we can still be grateful for the beautiful and wonderful things of life, even when there's a ring of fire around us. Otherwise, literally in Los Angeles, maybe more figuratively for people in other places. Whew. So yeah, just off the cuff, I'm trying to just like come back and do more content, post daily content, not require perfection of myself so that I just get it done. And if you would like to buy me a coffee or a tea as a thank you for this offering, I will put my Venmo in the notes in the description of my YouTube. But for now, I'm going to leave you with a tarot pull, Judgment, number 20 of the Major Arcana. You know, Judgment it's a come to Jesus meeting. This is a come to Jesus meeting for the collective. It's a come to Jesus meeting for humanity. And, you know, I'm saying this, maybe I shouldn't say come to Jesus. Maybe that's too religious sounding, but I mean it more, you know, it can apply to people of any religion, but it's like we are, you know, this is a moment of completion. This is a moment of crescendo. This is a moment of like, you know, our karmic and dharmic, significance work is coming to it's pulling focus. It's requiring our serious attention and honor, and that reminds me that I didn't mention how even the nodes of fate switched signs. This year they switched to the Pisces Virgo axis, which is very significant for our collective karma and dharma. And the Pisces Virgo axis, I did a whole video on that, which you should watch, but it's the axis of faith versus fear. It's the axis of, you know, powerlessness versus trying to be in control of everything. You know, it's the axis of organization versus chaos. It's the axis of health. You know, it looks like we'll be dealing very likely with a public health crisis during this next, you know, year and a half. And so, yeah, 2025 and 2026 almost read like one year, but if you're going to separate them into two and break it down into two, it's really like, you know, the year we meet our new life and then being fully immersed in the new life. And that's it for now. I've got to get to my personal readings of the day, which is the lifeblood of my business and what I do best and what I really enjoy. And I think you get the most out of astrology when you work one-on-one with an astrologer. You know, I think everyone should have their chart read at least once in their life. It's such a wonderful tool for self-awareness and self-discovery. And I think in this Aquarian era, it's so important to like know your chart and work with your chart on a regular basis. I think it's a very empowering tool, you know, spiritually, but also in just like day-to-day life. And so, yeah, I read on Zoom. I can read for people anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. Contact me for a reading. I will put a link to book a reading on my website in the description, or you can email me to book a reading. And again, if you'd like to make a donation for this astrological offering that I've given today, I'll put a link to my Venmo there as well. Thank you so much for joining me. And yeah, welcome to 2025, the year everything changes.